I'd now like to invite Mr. Sanjiv Aiyar, President of the Pan IIM Alumni Association, to come on stage and welcome you back tonight. Sanjiv.
Races divided, nations fighting, people dying, children crying. Who is making music for the people?
Guest of honor, Minister for Finance, Mr. Singh, Her Excellency Mrs. Vijay Thakur Singh, High Commissioner of India to Singapore, members of Advisory Council of IIMPACT, distinguished guests, fellow alumni, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening. I need more energy. I thought with all the sessions that we had about reimagination. Good evening. That's better, in line with the size of the crowd that we got here. So welcome to this journey of reimagination. It is exhilarating. It's been a great start this morning. Just to share with you some statistics, there are 1,000 or so delegates here. We thought with a Friday morning start, we'll probably get about 500 people, but actually, morning itself, it was 800. Lovely to see so much enthusiasm from so many of you. So what is this journey all about? And how did we come to this stage? So for the benefit of the minister particularly, we took the IIMPACT journey, which began about 11 years back in 2005. And I was just mentioning to the minister, at that time, the guest of honor was DPM Tharman. He was the finance minister then. And since then, we've come a long way with support from all parts of Singapore government, particularly DPM Tharman, President Nathan, and so on. 2013, we took it to a global format. And that's when the theme was New Frontiers, because we were getting into new frontiers. From a 3-hour evening format, we took it to a 1.5-day format. And DPMTO was the guest of honor then. 2014, 18 months after the first one, we went into the journey of I am the change. Basically, the theme being the change that you want, you need to take charge of it, you need to drive it. And we had the privilege of Prime Minister Lee being the guest of honor for that. So today, we are at this juncture where we are into reimagining the future. We are living in very interesting and challenging times. Just to share with you a little bit of our own IIMPACT journey. So the organizing committee started working on this about 12 months back. And one of the things that we thought will be reasonably under control was the finances. But a few months ago, the macroeconomic situation dramatically changed, and many of our sponsors who tend to be, or do tend to come from the financial services industry, they were reluctant to, or they were not really able to give the level of support that they usually did. We had a choice to cut down on the scale of what we were doing or to continue the journey. We decided we will continue the journey, and the scale and the scope and the ambience that we want to achieve with IIMPACT, we are not going to compromise on that. So we had to reimagine what is going to be despite the challenges. So that's just a little bit of anecdote in terms of what we really got into. But it is all about technologies reshaping our lives. It is creating opportunities. It is creating challenges. With all the stuff that is going on cognitive systems and artificial intelligence, many of the jobs that many of the IIM folks here hold might get threatened by robots tomorrow. At the same time, there is opportunity for entrepreneurs to be in robotics business, and they are the ones disrupting the jobs of their fellow alumni, as an example. But as we get more connected through technology, the challenges are we connected with ourselves? So there's probably a little bit of reinvention and reimagination that needs to take place there as well. So there are a variety of things that one can think of when it comes to reimagination, and the theme of the event is re. So we, instead of getting into should it be reimagination, should it be reinvention or re of any sort, we kept it to a simple re. But it is about the future. It is about shaping it. It is about taking charge of it rather than being victims of the changes that are taking place around us. We do have the educational background. We have the experience, expertise. All it requires is the will to shape the world the way we want it to be and also to leave the legacy for the world. Now, before I go too much further on this, there are a couple of other things that I wanted to relate here. So as we got into this, Minister, you spoke, but particularly in your budget speech, about SG 100 and transforming industry transformation and many other initiatives. So I have lived here 34 years now, and I have seen Singapore constantly reinventing itself and the leadership team constantly getting into reimagination exercise and making sure execution takes place. So we are living here. This is a living example of what reimagination can do. In fact, the facility that we are in did not exist. It was not even on the blueprint if I go back 3 decades. But this is what we are living in. So a living example of that. And it is not just coincidental that when we talk about this reimagination and the next journey that Singapore needs to undertake, big part of that reimagination journey, Minister Heng, you are driving it with your committee on future economy. So it is really very nice to have you here because it's completely aligned with the theme that we have. I took the minister on a tour of Imaginarium just now. Once again, this is a journey that we began just about 2 months ago. But we decided it's well worth doing it. So it's about immersive experience. It is about variety of different technologies coming together, from robotics to AI to drones to 3D printing to fintech and many other things. Startups from many different countries, Singapore, India, Germany, Australia, and United States, and variety of sub-themes from smart living to smart healthcare to smart finance and to smart infrastructure. So all of these have come together, and I hope most of you have had a chance to go there. But again, this is about reimagination. So we reimagined IIMPACT from not just being a platform for speakers and panels, but to also create possibilities, interesting possibilities with immersive experience. So that's it in a nutshell. So many of you have experienced this new format of IIMPACT for whole of today, and you'll be experiencing more of it a little later on. Now, one interesting thing that I wanted to relate to you, which will follow immediately, is we are really privileged to receive a message from the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, for IIMPACT. So I'd now like to invite Her Excellency, the High Commissioner, on stage to share Prime Minister Modi's message with us. High Commissioner, please.
Minister of Finance, His Excellency Mr. Heng Swee Keat, Mr. Sanjiv Aiyar, President of PAN IIM Alumni, all delegates and speakers at the IMPACT 2016. I have the honor and privilege to read the text message of Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, addressed to PAN IIM alumni. The message begins, I am happy to learn that PAN IIM alumni in Singapore is organizing the 3rd Global IIM Alumni Meet, IMPACT 2016, on April 8 and 9, 2016. IIM alumni have distinguished themselves in various fields, both in India and abroad. They have set exemplary standards in leadership and managerial skills. They have been great assets for public and private enterprises in India and wonderful ambassadors for our nation across the globe. On this occasion, I extend my best wishes for the success of the Global Alumni Meet. May it lead to even greater networking and exchange of ideas among the fraternity. End of message. May I also take this opportunity on my behalf to say that we are confident that IIM alumni will contribute to India's growth and development by supporting government's flagship programs, Make in India, Startup India, Skill India, Digital India. And they would also take the leadership role in availing of the many exciting opportunities that are in a growing India in investment and business expansion. I am told that the highest concentration of IIMs in one location is in Singapore, and I do hope that the IIM alumni leverage this locational advantage and of the fact that India and Singapore have strong ties to further carry forward the friendship agenda. In fact, our relationship was elevated to a level of a strategic partnership during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Singapore last November. Taking into account the theme RE, I can only re-emphasize that in the future, India-Singapore relations will go stronger, firmer, and deeper. With these words, I would conclude by conveying my good wishes to all present here today. Thank you so much.